Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's Biology channel. So today we are here with a brand new lesson, that is nutrition in plants for 7th CBSE science students. So this will be a one-shot lesson. In this only I have also discussed full lesson nutrition in plants, including autotrophic, heterotrophic, saprophytic mode of nutrition, all in details with examples, with diagrams and all. I have also taught in this lesson photosynthesis as well as how the insectivorous plants are acting. I have also discussed here about the nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is rhizobium and all. So stay tuned and stay updated with all my videos, and please do subscribe to my channel for more updates regarding all your lessons which I'll be posting in the coming future. So let's get started with my video of today, nutrition in plants. Please do share my lessons if you are liking my lessons with your friends also. So let's get started. Let's get started with today's lesson, that is nutrition in plants. This is your first lesson in your science. So it's a very easy lesson. I think you have also gone through these lesson in 6th standard also. So let's get started with today's lesson. So first we should know that what is nutrition. So we have also learned that carbohydrate, protein, fats and vitamins, they are all are components of food. So they are providing us with health. So these components of food are called nutrients. So carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals, they are all nutrients which are necessary for our body. So what are nutrients? If you are getting a question, what are nutrients? So the components in foods such as protein, fats, vitamins, minerals are the nutrients in our body. So all living organisms, we require food. Plants can synthesize their food for themselves, but we animals and humans cannot prepare our own food. So we need to depend on the plants for their food. So they get it from plants and animals that eat plants. Thus humans and animals are directly or indirectly dependent on plants. Okay. So here we have started with initially also we know that two brothers and sisters, Buju and Paheli, they are discussing within themselves that Buju wants to know how plants prepare their own food. So he is asking that how plants do prepare their own food. So we should know the process of preparation of the food by the plants. Now what is the mode of nutrition in plants? Now plants are the only organisms that can prepare their food for themselves by using water, carbon dioxide and minerals. So what are these things? These are the raw materials which are required for food. So when your mother is preparing food at home, she needs something. She needs vegetables, she needs salt, sugar, water. She needs something, all the masalas to prepare her food, right? So like that only plants also need water, carbon dioxide and minerals to prepare. These are the raw materials which are present in the surroundings to prepare their food. So the nutrients enable the living organisms to build their bodies, to grow, to repair the damaged parts of their bodies and to provide the energy to carry out the life processes. So what are the life processes? The life processes are the processes which are happening in the human as well as the animal body to keep us alive. So whether it is respiration, whether it is circulation, excretion, whatever it is, so all the organ systems which are working together in coordination in our body are helping us to build our body, damage the repaired parts and provide energy for this life processes. So what is this? This is the nutrition is the mode of taking food by the organisms and its utilization by the body. So what is nutrition? So it is the mode of taking food by the body and the utilization by the body. So I'll be giving you these definitions separately at the end of this lesson. So as in a form of notes. So I'll be giving you what is nutrients, what is nutrition, what are autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, what are autotrophs. So this I'll be giving in a gist as a sum up or a summary. So now we will continue with the autotrophic nutrition. So the mode of nutrition in which the organisms make food themselves. These simple substances is called as autotrophic. Auto means self and trophos means nourishment. Okay, so auto means self, so they are preparing food or they are acquiring nourishment on their own, so that is called auto or self nourishment or nutrition, that is autotrophic nutrition. Therefore plants are called autotrophs, and animals and most other organisms who depend on the plants for food, they are called heterotrophs. Heteros means other. Okay, now Paheli wants to know why our body cannot make food from carbon dioxide, water and minerals like plants. Why? So we should know the process of formation of food, right? So how plants can make, we cannot make in our own body. We have to prepare our food. Our mothers, they prepare our food in kitchen, but in our own body there is no such kitchen as the plant is preparing their food in their own body. Okay, so plant, they are having their own kitchen within their body. Now we may ask where the food factories in plant are located, whether the food is made in all parts of the plant or only in certain parts. So certain questions are arising, right? So throughout the plant body, does food get prepared? No, it's not like that. So how do plants obtain raw materials from the surroundings? How do they transport them to the food factories of the plant? So these are all questions which come to our mind. So one by one we will make it clear. So first we should know that what is photosynthesis, that is the food making process in plants. So in the next slide we will discuss in details about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is what? It is the food making process of the plants. So leaves are the food factories of the plants. Therefore we can say that all the raw materials must reach leaf. So leaf is the kitchen of the plant where the food is prepared. So water and minerals present in the soil, they are absorbed by the roots and they are transported to the leaves. So to the leaves they should be transported water and minerals. Carbon dioxide from the air is taken in. So how it is taken in? It is taken in through the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaf. So these tiny pores, stomata, they are actually present on the lower surface of the leaf. So this is in 7th standard. You just understand what is the process of photosynthesis, how is it performed. In 9th and higher classes, you will be studying about the full details of the stomata with the guard cells and all. So what are these stomatas? These are pores which are surrounded by guard cells. So guard cells are the cells which are guarding the stomata. So if this is the hole, suppose, of the stomata, there are certain cells which are present on just located on the side of the stomata. These are the guard cells. Is it clear? So I'll just show you the picture of guard cells in the next slide. So such pores are called stomata. Okay, and these are called stomata. Now Bujo wants to know that water and minerals are absorbed by the root. They are reaching the leaves and all. So water and minerals are transported to the leaves by the vessels which run like the pipes throughout the root. So from the root, when it is absorbed through the stems, there are a pipeline like substance. So in our house, the water is coming through the pipeline. In plants also, from the roots there are continuous path or pipelines through which the water is being absorbed through the stem, the branches, and then ultimately they reach the leaves. Now they form a continuous path or a passage for the nutrients to reach the leaf, and they are called the vessels. There are certain vessels, we will be knowing about them. So you will be learning about this transport of materials in 7th only. So in the next lessons you will be studying about this. Okay, so more in the next chapter in transport of materials in plants, you will be studying more. So this is nutrients in plants, right? So first we will discuss about the process of photosynthesis. So we have understood that how the water and minerals are reaching the leaves, how the carbon dioxide is being absorbed through the stomata from the atmosphere. Now the leaves have green pigment called the chlorophyll. It helps the leaves to capture the sunlight. So chlorophyll is having certain pigments called chloroplast, which are helping to capture the energy from the sunlight, and this energy is used to synthesize, prepare food from carbon dioxide and water. Is it clear? So if the synthesis of food occurs in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. So photo means light and synthesis is meaning to combine. So if there is no light at all, then this food making process will stop. So this happens only during sunlight or during light with the presence. So at night we don't have photosynthesis. So no photosynthesis is there at night. So we find that chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water are the necessary things to carry out the process of photosynthesis. Now it is a unique process on earth and the solar energy is captured by the leaves. Thus we say that sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Okay, so all living organisms are getting their energy from the sunlight. Now in the above this box they have given us just a quick description of what are cells. So what are cells? We know that you have seen buildings which are made up of bricks. So here and there you are seeing that buildings are made up of small bricks. Like that only, our body is also made up of tiny units called cells. So what are these? Like bricks, these are also the building blocks of our body. What are cells? So buildings are made up of bricks and cells are the building blocks of our body. These are what? These are the building blocks of our body. Is it clear? Now cells can be seen only under microscope. Some organisms are made of only one cell and they are called unicellular. If they are made up of one cell, they will be called unicellular. And if they are made up of more than one cell, they will be called multicellular. Okay, they are called multicellular. So the cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called the cell membrane. Now most cells have distinct centrally located spherical structure called the nucleus. So cell membrane is the outside lining of the cell which is protecting the cell from damage and all. Now most cells have distinct centrally located nucleus. So this is the nucleus of the cell. If this is the cell, this one is the nucleus of the cell and it is being surrounded by this mass is called the cytoplasm. And the outside membrane is called the cell membrane. So the nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. Now this is all about the cells in gist. We have spoken about the requirements of photosynthesis. And can you imagine life on earth in absence of photosynthesis? No, if plants are not preparing food, how the plants will survive? And if they are not surviving on the plants directly or indirectly, we are dependent. So if absence of photosynthesis, there would be no food left on earth. So the survival of almost all the living organisms directly or indirectly, it depends upon the food made by plants. Besides that, oxygen is also essential for the survival of all organisms that is produced during photosynthesis. Now in absence of photosynthesis, life would be impossible on earth. So we would all die. We will not get oxygen, will not get food. So there is no life on earth without this photosynthesis. So during photosynthesis, chlorophyll containing cells of leaves in the presence of sunlight use carbon dioxide and water to synthesize carbohydrates. The process is presented by the equation like that. Carbon dioxide plus water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, it is giving carbohydrate and oxygen. So what is it giving? Carbohydrate and oxygen are being the, after the photosynthesis is over, we are getting carbohydrate and oxygen, and the raw materials used are carbon dioxide, water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Is it clear? Now we will discuss about this cross section of leaf. Let us see the section of the leaf structure here now. Now this is a section of the leaf. Now this if you see this section of leaf, you will see that the upper layer is having chlorophyll. So these are all chloroplast cells. So these are all chloroplast cells. So these are chloroplast cells. Now here in the lower epidermis, this is the upper epidermis of the leaf having the chloroplast cells. These are the lower epidermis which are having stomata with these two guard cells. Now this is the stoma or the opening, and these are two guard cells. Now how does the guard cell look like? I told you I'll be discussing. So this is the opening or the stomatal opening, and these are two guard cells. So the contraction and relaxation of this guard cells only opens and closes the stomata. So how this opening and closing, contraction and relaxation occurs? If this guard cells are filled with water, they swell up and then they open the stomatal opening, and when they shrink, and when the guard cells they shrink, they just squeeze out the fluid outside during transpiration. When there is water loss in the guard cells, then they shrink and the stomatal openings they get closed. So this is all details about photosynthesis. I think you understood. Now during the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is released, and the presence of starch in the leaf indicates the occurrence of photosynthesis. Okay, now the starch is also carbohydrate, and we can say that this is also carbohydrate, and Buju has observed that some plants with deep red, violet or brown leaves are also there. So he also wants to know that whether these leaves also carry photosynthesis or not. We have seen several leaves which are having dark spotted brown colors in them, or yellowish color or orangish color are also there. So these violet, brown, red leaves, do they have chlorophyll pigments? Do they have photosynthesis? Yes, they do have, because these pigments mask the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is already there, but in less amount, might be not as fully green leaves. Now let's do an activity. Let's take two potted plants of the same kind. We are keeping one in dark in a black box and another for 72 hours and the other in sunlight. So what we will see, when we perform iodine test with the leaves of both the plants, as you have done in class 6th, what we have seen, iodine test, in presence of starch the leaf will turn black. So that we will see that now leave the pot which was earlier kept in dark in sunlight for 3 to 4 days and perform the iodine test again. Now in this you will see the plant which was kept in dark will not react to iodine test, will not give the results of starch, but the which was kept in sunlight will give the result of which is the starch which turns black. Okay. Now you have recorded your observations. So we have seen that if you are keeping these in sunlight again for 3 to 4 days and performing iodine test again, so what is happening, the leaves which have been kept in sunlight for 3 to 4 days, they again give that blue black color. Okay, now the leaves of other than green plants also have chlorophyll. They were having a question, you were also having a question in your mind that these type of plants, these type of leaves, do they have photosynthesis or not? Yes, the large amount of red, brown and other pigments are masked the green color. Photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. You often see slimy green patches in ponds or stagnant water bodies. These are generally formed by the growth of organisms called algae. Okay, can you guess why algae are green in color? They contain chlorophyll which gives them the green color. So algae which is present in ponds and all, they contain chlorophyll, and so that is why they are green in color. Algae can also prepare their own food by photosynthesis. So the leaves other than green, their chlorophyll is masked by these pigments. They do have chlorophyll, they do have photosynthesis reaction in them, and if you are doing iodine test with these leaves, in some parts you will see the blue black color which is positive for iodine test for the presence of starch. Is it clear? Now next is synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. So you have just learned now that plants synthesize carbohydrates through the process of photosynthesis. Now other than carbohydrates made of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, these are used to synthesize other components of foods such as proteins and fats. Okay, but proteins are nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen. Okay, now from where do plants obtain nitrogen? So other than carbohydrates, the plants, they are we are saying that they are used to synthesize certain components like proteins and fats. So proteins are nitrogenous substances. So from where they are getting nitrogen? So recall that nitrogen is present in abundance in the gaseous form in air. So in air, nitrogen is there. So how do they take in nitrogen? So like carbon dioxide is absorbed from stomata, nitrogen can't be done like that. So plants cannot absorb nitrogen in this gaseous form. So what they are doing? Soil has certain bacteria. These are called nitrogenous bacteria. So the gaseous nitrogen is converted into usable form and released it into the soil. So these are absorbed by the plants along with water, and along that you might have also seen that farmers adding fertilizers rich in nitrogen to the soil. Okay, so in this way the plants fulfill their requirements of nitrogen along with other constituents. So plants can synthesize proteins and vitamins also. So what are these bacteria which are present in the roots called? These are called nitrogenous bacteria. So that converts the atmospheric nitrogen to the usable form which the plants can use, and so plants can also synthesize proteins and vitamins. Okay, so though they are having nitrogens in them, plants are not only the producers of carbohydrates, they can also prepare proteins and vitamins. So now we will move on to other modes of nutrition in plant. Now we are going to discuss about other modes of nutrition in plants, right? So what are the other modes of nutrition in plants? First, we have already discussed about the autotrophic nutrition in plants. Now there are some plants which do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot synthesize their own food. So how do they survive, and from what do they derive their own nutrition? So what they are doing, they are like the human beings and animals, these plants are also dependent on food production by different plants. So they are called the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so look at this figure 1.5. We will show you the figure here. See, here you can see in this figure, see some plants are on the green plants, so they are depending on the green plants for their food. So they are all sticking to this plants as creepers or climbers. They are all dependent on this big green plant. So what they are called, we should see that. Now when you are seeing this, you have seen yellow wiry branch structure twinning around the stem and the branches. Just now you have seen that these yellow things are twinning around the branches of the green tree. So what are these? These are called the cuscuta or amarbale plant. So this plant is called cuscuta. It does not have chlorophyll of its own. So it takes the ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. Is it clear? So the plant on which it climbs is the host plant. So the plant on which is climbing, it's the host plant. Okay. Since it deprives the host of the valuable nutrients, the cuscuta is called a parasite. It is parasite. It is absorbing all the important nutrients from the main plant, and the main plant is being deprived of the nutrients. So are we and the other animals also parasites? You should think about it and discuss with your teacher. So are we also parasites, as we are also depending on other plants, or we can say that we are also indirectly dependent on the plants for their which we are taking our nutrition. So we are also heterotrophs, but are we parasites? So that we should discuss now. Now Paheli wants to know whether mosquitoes, bedbugs, lice, leeches that suck our blood are also parasites or not. So what conclusion we are getting? So now we can say that, have you seen or heard plants that eat animals? There are a few plants which can trap insects and digest them. These plants are all insectivorous plants. Okay, so pitcher plant, the picture is there given of pitcher plant. If an insect comes and sits here, this lid falls and covers this hole, and the whole insects get digested here. So it's not at all amazing. There are some plants in nature like the pitcher. They look like pitcher, so it is called a pitcher plant. Jug-like structure. Its modified part is leaf, and the apex of the leaf, it forms the lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Now inside the pitcher there are hair which are directed downwards. When an insect lands in the pitcher, what is happening? The lid closes and the insects get trapped inside, entangled into the hair, and the lid closes. The insect is trapped inside, and with the digestive juices secreted inside that pitcher plant, the nutrients are absorbed, and the insect eating plants are called insectivorous plants. So if you're getting a question that what are insectivorous plants, give one example with a diagram I have taught you. So these are the plants which are trapping insects, which are digesting the insects with their digestive juices, and they are absorbing the nutrients. Now this is also another mode of nutrition of plants. So is it possible that such plants do not get all required nutrients from the soil when they grow? So Bujo is confused. If the pitcher plant is green and carries out photosynthesis, then why does it feed on insects? So if it is green, if it is able to carry out photosynthesis, so why it is carrying out or feeding on the insects, right? So that we should think. But the leaf here, it's not, it is green, though it is modified into a pitcher-like structure which is not suitable for photosynthesis, and it is a plant which is dependent totally on insects, and it's thus called an insectivorous plants. Now we are going to discuss about the saprotrops. What are saprotrops? You might have seen packets of mushrooms sold in the vegetable market. Now these mushrooms, you may have also seen fluffy umbrella like patches growing on the moist soils, and during this rainy season it's very much common. So here and there you see this patches are growing on the soil, but those all are not edible thing. Okay, so the packet one, the mushrooms which you are getting in the market, only you can eat them, so they are not poisonous. Many mushrooms are very much poisonous, so they don't have any nutrition value, but they are poisonous for our health. So it's very you should be aware before taking mushrooms. You should take from a good shop only, buy from a good shop, and you should clean it properly before preparing it. So let us find out the type of nutrients they need to survive and from where we get them. Okay, these are the packets of nutrients, these are the packets of mushrooms which are growing in decayed material, but they are good and nutritional. They are rich in protein. For us it is very good. So Bujo wants to know how these organisms acquire nutrients. They do not have mouths like animals do. They are not green plants, and they lack chlorophyll, and they cannot make their own food by photosynthesis. So what they all are doing, how they are getting nutrients, these are also living things. They are also surviving on some nutrients, so from where they are getting. So let us discuss that. Now these organisms are called fungi, and they are a different mode of nutrition, right? They absorb the nutrients from the bread. So here you can see these are bread molds. They are absorbing nutrients from the bread. So this mode of nutrition is which the organism take in nutrients from the dead and the decaying matter is called the saprophytic nutrition. So first we discussed about autotrophic, then we discussed about heterotropic, and now we are discussing about the saprophytic nutrition. So such organisms with saprophytic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. So first we have discussed about autotrophs, then we have discussed about heterotrophs, and now we are discussing about the saprotrophs. Okay, so now we are discussing about the saprotrophs. So those who are dependent on the dead and decaying matters. So fungi are also grown on pickles. They also grow on leather, clothes, and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for a long time. So during the rainy season, they spoil many things. Ask your parents about the menace of fungi in your house. So your parents will be knowing that in the rainy season, many things are getting spoiled with this hot and humid climate. Many things get infected by fungi and they are getting rotten. The fungal spores are generally present in the air when they land on Wet and warm things, they germinate and grow. Okay, now you can figure out how you can protect our things from getting spoiled. So the rainy season is a hot and humid climate, so then these fungi, they are present in air, they land on this hot and humid warm wet things, so and they get them spoiled. So some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. So this type of relationship is called symbiosis, or this type of relationship is also called symbiotic nutrition. Okay, so they are staying with each other they are sharing both their shelter and both their nutrients. So for example, certain fungi live inside the roots of plants. The plants provide nutrients to the fungi, and in return the fungus provides water and certain nutrients to the plant. Okay, so they are living in a symbiotic association or in a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so as they are staying in the roots of the plants are providing them with nutrients, and in turn the fungus is providing the plant with water and minerals. So in organisms like lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner, which is an algae, and a fungus, they live together. The fungus provides shelter, water and minerals to the algae. In turn, the algae prepares and provides food to the fungus. Okay, so they are remaining in close association with each other. The algae prepares food, it is having chlorophyll, it is green in color to the fungus, and the fungi provides the shelter to this algae. Now we will be discussing about how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Now let us read this box first. So what Bujo is telling? Bujo is telling that once his grandfather told that wheat fields were spoiled with by fungus, and he wants to know that fungi can cause also diseases. Whereas Paheli, what she is telling yeast and mushrooms are useful. So they are, but some fungi cause diseases in plants and animals, including humans. So some fungi are used in medicines also. So we can tell that fungi has both beneficial. So it has both beneficial and harmful roles. So they are used in medicines, they are used in preparing our bread, cakes and all, in baking. Yeast, mushrooms are very good proteins. Now whereas they can cause disease, they are destroying the field, so they have beneficial as well as harmful effects as well. So they are both beneficial and harmful for animals and humans. So how nutrients are replenished in the soil, this we are going to study now. Now, have you seen the farmers spreading manure or fertilizers in the field, or gardeners using them in lawns or pots? Yes, you have seen. So, did you learn that plants absorb minerals and nutrients from the soil? So, their amounts in the soil keep declining. Fertilizers and manures contain nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. So, these nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirement of the plants. So what we are doing, we are adding fertilizers, we are adding manure which contain the nutrients as nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, right? Now these nutrients, they need to be added from time to time. So fertilizers need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil in the fields as well as in the pots. We can grow plants to keep them healthy. So as we also require nutrients, we also require food. Plants also require food that is given in the form of fertilizers. Okay. So usually crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. You learned that though nitrogen gas is available in plenty in air, plants cannot use that like carbon dioxide. We have seen that they need the nitrogen to be converted in the soluble form in there. They should be absorbed in the soil. So these are the nitrogen fixing bacteria. So what are these? Rhizobium and all these are nitrogen fixing bacteria which converts the atmospheric nitrogen to usable form. But rhizobium cannot make its own food. So it often lives in the roots of grams, peas, moong and beans and other leguminous plants to provide them with nitrogen. So there is a mutual adjustment between them. They are telling that you can stay in our roots, but you need to convert the atmospheric nitrogen to the soluble form of nitrogen and help us to make the nitrogenous substances or proteins or vitamins in the plants. So proteins, what are these? These are proteins, moong, peas, these are all forms of protein. Leguminous plants, all which are producing legumes, are protein rich. So they are staying in the roots of the plants, they are providing them with nitrogen, which in turn is helping the plants to produce proteins, but they are allowing the rhizobium to take shelter in their roots. Okay, so and providing food to this plant, this rhizobium bacteria also. So in return, the plants provide food and shelter to these bacteria. So it is a symbiotic relationship. So rhizobium, these are all, we can say that they are nitrogen fixing bacteria. So rhizobium is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, is it clear? It is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. So their association is of great significance for the farmers. They can reduce the use of fertilizers where the leguminous plants are grown, and most of these pulses and dals are obtained from leguminous plants. Now in this chapter we have learnt about autotrophs. Only a few plants are parasitic and saprophytic. They derive the nutrition from other organisms. All animals are categorized as heterotrophs since they depend on the plants and other animals for food. So can we say that insectivorous plants are partial heterotrophs? Yes, we can say that they are partial heterotrophs because they are depending on the animals for their food. So they are partial heterotrophs. Okay, so what are the keywords we have learned here? We have learned autotrophic, chlorophyll, heterotrophs, host, insectivorous, nutrient, nutrition, parasite, photosynthesis, saprotrophs, saprophytic, stomata, saprotropic and all. So this is all we have learned today. So in the next video, we will be back with a few questionnaires pattern where we are going to discuss a few questions from this chapter only. So stay prepared because that day I'll be giving you questions and you will be ready with your answer book where you will be quickly writing the answers. So till then, you read the lesson, revise the lesson and go through it in a I can say you can go through it in a very thorough manner and subscribe to my channel for more updates. As per CBSE curriculum, all the lessons I'll be posting. So more updates, more new lessons, more content. Stay tuned, stay updated with all my lessons. Thank you.